Yes, I know, another MamaMax video, but I haven't had my fill yet and there are still some loose ends I need to tie up. A couple days ago, I made a video about MamaMax's poor campaign against alleged cult leader Camdan. In the wake of that video, the situation developed into an absolute mess that led to large content creators covering the event, friends of Max disavowing him, the destruction of his evidence server, and all of the evidence in said server to be leaked to the public. With all of that in mind, I knew I had to make another video, so here's what we're gonna do. Firstly, we will be looking at select clips from videos and live streams trying to paint more of a picture of what Camdan is being accused of. You guys really appreciated that in the last video, so we're gonna keep doing it here. I will be discussing some of the leaked evidence in Max's server. I will criticize Max's final moments online, which ended up being a poorly made apology video. And finally, I will be detailing the downfall of Max's investigation due to a leaker pretending to be a victim and infiltrating his server. Now for the next question. Where do we start? Well, actually, I want to backtrack a little bit and start at the 8-hour live stream. If you don't recall, he had an 8-hour stream where he had victims on and then he talked to certain callers. You know the one. But that stream was made private, and I didn't have access to it for my last video, so I instead read a Reddit post recounting the events that happened. I now have that stream. So now to fully complete the last video and have everything Camden in one place, let's discuss that stream. Starting off with a bang, I'm going to get the victims out of the way. We're introduced to 2 victims and hear the testimony of 1, making 3 in total. The first one up was Ishmael. Ishmael's story was told to us already all the way back in the You Can't Hurt Me podcast. She was Survivor A. People seem to confuse her with Ellie and believe that Ellie is Survivor A, but no, Ishmael is Survivor A. I know this because Ishmael retells her story almost exactly like it's told in the podcast. She does it so well that we don't even have to go back over it like we did with Kai. There are still some things from her section that I want to show you.
So I'm formerly known as Survivor A in Spencer's podcast. If you go to the end where she reads out the other testimonies, I'm the first one that's read. So I made a post just asking if anybody could explain this to me, and then someone reached out to me who was a recruiter for this group. She's known as, I believe, Survivor C in the podcast, but we'll call her Crystal.
Ishmael, I was gonna ask you if you had gotten that advice about to watch out for people and to trust your gut at 14, do you think it would have stopped you or pulled you out of, steered you away from all of this?
I don't know, to be honest. Because like I said, I knew about the existence of predators, but I thought that Camden was the exception. In some ways, because he even would do things that, I don't know how to describe it, but he would talk about actually talk about instances of sexual abuse or violence, and he seemed to be really morally compelled against it. I remember actually once on Facebook he had made a post talking about the Stanford case, and he was saying how despicable it was that the convict had only gotten 3 months in jail, and how unfair it was that the victim would have to live knowing that her abuser was still out there. And I remember seeing that and thinking wow, he's such an ally, he's really against that kind of stuff. And I was wrong, obviously.
Do you think that he believes his own shit, or do you think that he is fully aware of what he's doing?
I have been wondering that for years. I think in the beginning he kind of knew. I don't think that's completely the case anymore. I think he's kind of lost it, or he's a little unhinged. 7 years you keep doing this. I think there comes a point where he does believe his own lies. I can't guarantee that. That's just I just want a disclaimer, that's kind of my own theory or speculation. One of my friends, actually, I talked with him about this, and he had a theory that Camden had been trained to do this most likely by another pedophile, because the whole cult system is very elaborate and it's very detailed, and he acquired it seemingly very quickly. So he had a theory actually that maybe Camden was actually kind of online himself in kind of these circles of other pedophiles, and they might have kind of shared this with him. That's just that's one theory, is that someone else might have kind of trained him to do this, but I can't really confirm that or not, but that's just my theory.
What do you think was going on with him pretending to be all these different people, pretending to be his dead sister and all that? Why the mind games?
The first is just for the practical reason of making us feel like it was all more real, to think that, oh, like there really are spirits that could talk to you.
The kid on Twitter.
Yeah, like to just kind of think that like it was to make it feel more immersive. The sister thing was like a sob story that he kind of used to make us sympathize with him more. He had come up with this whole story about how he had these two sisters and how they were both raped and murdered by like this crazy man, and then he never found this person again.
It was 3 sisters because there was a young one that he, quote, supposedly found the body of.
Okay, yeah, like there was some kind of story about all of that. So yeah, I think that was just kind of to get. I don't know if that really happened or not, but I think that he kind of used that to get our sympathy and to make us think like, oh, what a poor man. Because I remember hearing that story and I was crying and I was like, wow, that's so horrible from someone to go through, and it made me sympathize with him.
Would you still have felt like that this was like a thing that you wanted to be a part of?
Yeah, absolutely. Although I don't know what like suing would really do to him. I mean,
he has
I would want
assets of his own.
Yeah, exactly. And like I don't really have, honestly, I don't want his filthy money. I don't want anything to do with that. What I really want is him to never do this again to anybody else. That's what all of us want. We want him in prison, absolutely.
Yes.
There's no disputing that, and there's no exceptions. Like that's just what needs to be done now.
I have a question for Ishmael and Spencer.
Okay.
Word?
How did you guys meet? Did you know each other's names? Was it like an all anonymous thing, or like what was your?
We didn't really get like close until November of 2016 after I had come back to Texas. At first, like, for some reason we didn't like each other. I don't know exactly what happened. I think it was because when I got shipped off to the group home, Camdan like maybe tried to replace me with her, and it kind of pissed me off, and teenage anger, I'm just like, nah, fuck you, dude, the fuck.
Yeah, there was a little bit of tension in the beginning, but then we quickly realized that we had a lot in common, and we were also just kind of the ones who were the most just kind of there. So we got along pretty well, and me, her, and Crystal formed a pretty strong trio, and then we were spending like just hours and hours and hours on the phone, like watching Broadway musicals and movies. I remember watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show with you, Spence.
And the fucking Czechoslovakian Alice in Wonderland.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Honey.
Dude, no, I play that every now and then in my head, and I'm like, I wonder if Spence still remembers that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh, good times.
Can I ask? So what was this Discord, or like what was the platform that you guys were all talking on?
It was a mix of
when
things,
we were
mostly
in.
Kick, but also Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
Next up is Ellie, who is a completely new survivor that we haven't heard from before. I wasn't too sure because in Survivor C's story, she also was introduced to the cult via the Experience Project, a site I have never heard of before until this drama. But other than that, her story is unique. Since this stream is not on YouTube, which means I can't provide timestamps, we're gonna do it differently. We are not going to do what I wanted because that would have taken too long to edit. Ellie is just gonna tell her story. One important thing to keep in mind is that Ellie had a partner when she got into the cult. So technically Ellie is 2 victims wrapped in one.
Sure, I'll try to condense it because it's about 5 years of story, and
you have all the time you need.
I'm sure there's a lot I don't remember, just because it's been a lot, and I have CPSD and really bad memory loss due to it, so pardon me. But I met Camdan in like 2016, right before college, off of the Experience Project. It was either I had posted something, or I think it was Jalexa that had posted something, and somehow we got in contact, and I was added to a group, and it was about like witches and Wicca, and like I had a lot of Christian religious trauma growing up, and so I was kind of exploring and figuring out what I believed. So I was like, oh my goodness, maybe people who know more than me, and like I want to learn more about this because it seems super interesting. and I think for the first couple months it was super family oriented, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have friends and like people who want to learn the same stuff or like know stuff that I want to know. Later on, it was like they were recruiting people for like their coven portion, because I know it was a whole bunch of different things. Like some of it was like vampires and werewolves and witches and whatever. I was mostly in like the witches portion, so like I didn't really get to see anything else because they would keep us in separate group chats. Later on, a couple months down the line, I found out that there were really young kids in the chat, like I think as young as 11, and I went straight to Camdan because I had told Jalexa like it's not okay to be having these people in the chat. They're really, really, really young, and like I don't feel comfortable talking to them, and neither should you. But then I went straight to Camdan and I was like, hey, Jalexa's not listening to me, and we have super young people in this chat, and I don't feel comfortable with it. And it should have been a red flag to me that he just immediately like removed me out of the chat and was like, oh, hey, sorry, that will never happen again. Thank you for telling me. And like I thought we were having like a semi like as adult conversation as we could for being a teenager. And I was like, great, won't happen again, because sadly I was very trusting of people. I shouldn't have been, but I was. And he added me into a chat that I think the youngest was like 16, 17, and I was like, great, definitely people I can still talk to, because like I have friends that are 16 and 17. I'm about that age. Why is this not a problem to me? And he never added me into any chats that had anyone, I guess not saying too young, but like too young that I was uncomfortable talking to, or like anyone that would be like either not be a senior in high school or like going into college type. Off of that, he would talk to me a lot once I got in contact with him. I mean, like he would call me every single night, which wasn't weird to me because like I didn't have a lot of friends, and I thought it was nice to talk to somebody who seemingly cared and like wanted to be on a call with me. And I would just like let him talk and talk and talk and talk. Not that I really like listened to anything or remember what he was saying. But I do remember at one point he was asking a lot of questions about my childhood, and I had let him know that like I had a lot of abuse going on, and I feel like he really capitalized on that and wanted to know more, and some of it was definitely not stuff that like you divulge to people that you don't really know. He really wanted to know like everything. And then later he was like, hey, I know that you're single, we should like go on dates. You should go on dates with me because I know you've never been on a date before. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, but like maybe friend dates are a thing, because like I'm not thinking of this man as like I want to be with you, because I don't know, I'm not like that, and I don't just like date people willy-nilly. And like I had been on friend dates before where like you take your bestie out for like coffee and you're like, haha, this is a cute little date. But I know now he was like uber serious about it, which is kind of gross to me because at the time he had his girlfriend Kat, and he was like, you could go on a date with me and Kat and it would just be really cute. And I was like, oh my goodness, like a friend date, so cute, thank you. Obviously it never happened because I did not live in the same state, but he really wanted me to be there, and he would like ask me to like quit college and like run away and move and like go live with him. He's like, you can quit and come live with me. And I was like, I really can't, because I'm paying money for college, and I am poor, and I would like to make money after college, so I can't just quit. So fast forwarding, I think 2-3 years, closer to the end of college, we were still talking, and like shit had happened, and I was just not quite paying attention because I was doing full-time school, full-time work, and I was super tired. And I was like, hey, I think I should probably like leave, just because like I don't have time for you. And my girlfriend at the time was like, hey, this shit's crazy, like stuff he says doesn't make sense, and he's super manipulative. And I was like, no, it's fine, he's not manipulative, he like really means what he says. And I just fully believed him because I grew up in a house that my parents were very, very manipulative of me, and so I just thought it was normal. So we left, and stupidly enough, I left for like a month, and I was like, maybe I should talk to him. Maybe my girlfriend's wrong, and like I should have trusted her, and I did not in that case, just because like I thought he was so real, and I thought maybe she was wrong and just didn't see what he saw, and like I don't know. So after that, I was talking to him for a while, and I was like, listen, like we should believe him. Like he is so believable, and he like has proof that he's real, and like I just totally, I trust him completely, and we should just rejoin. And after a while we did, just because I don't even know, honestly. I couldn't tell you why we rejoined at that point. But then I graduated college, and it was during the pandemic, so everything was really, really crazy. And we ended up moving to Georgia, away from my home, and just like I'd promised, which was a huge mistake, because then we were in person with them, and we had visited a couple times before we moved, just to like get the feel of things and like make sure they weren't like psychopath, crazy killers. You know, you never know who they are, even after you've talked to them for forever. And I guess like it was I put on my best behavior when you're around just so you move here type deal, because they didn't do anything crazy while we were there. But after we moved, they started doing like kind of iffy stuff, and they would make us like eat and drink things we were allergic to because it would get rid of your corruption, is what they told us. And I'm super lucky that I didn't get really ill, because I'm actually very, very allergic to weed, and he would have us smoke all the time. And he would also starve us and then overfeed us. And like, I remember one night specifically, he made us eat like 3 triple cheeseburgers from Wendy's and like 2 fries, and if we didn't finish it, we were in trouble. And yeah, he would also make us drink a fuck ton. Like there was one night where he had us all drink our own like bottle of wine, and it was like as high alcoholic wine as you could get, and then had us drink a bottle of vodka. And I was so off my ass that night. He would manipulate us into being like, hey, you're in trouble, you have to like give us money, or hey, you're in trouble, you can't come over, or hey, you're in trouble, you can't eat for such and such a days because it'll get rid of your corruption. So I just fully believed him and was like, yeah, I guess I am in trouble. Like maybe they'll hurt me, or like make me do more weed, which I don't want to do, or make me drink more and like vomit, or I don't know. They just did random shit when you were in trouble. But they did that a lot. And pretty much up until we left is how often they did that. Like they would call us over in the middle of the night. It would be like, they'd text us at like 3 a.m. after I'd worked like 10 hours. And they'd be like, hey, you have to come over, and if you don't, you're in trouble. Or like, Camden really needs to see you like ASAP, and if you don't come over, XYZ will happen. The end of the world type shit. So we were super sleep deprived. So when you're sleep deprived and also super starving, that's just a really bad mix, and you just kind of believe whatever they tell you. Plus him making us get high, I think maybe not every day, but often enough. And you just kind of, you're tired and you just don't care, and you're like, whatever, I don't want to get hurt at this point. Oh my god, I don't remember how old I was. I was like 20, 21-ish, but weed is not legal here, so I don't know how they got it. I didn't like partake in the getting of. I don't know how it ended up at their apartment. It was just always there. He always had it in the house. I know for a fact that one of the other survivors that lived with him told me that it was just always in the house, no matter what. Like, he was always smoking it. They always had to, like, be in there smoking it, which, I mean, yeah, because, like, whenever we were there, it was there and he was smoking. I think we were there up until, like, 2-ish years ago. We left, I want to say, it was right after my dad had passed away, and I had to go back up to my hometown because I couldn't let my sibling take care of death alone, because that's not fair. And he was really, really angry that we were leaving, and he was like, you're not allowed to go, your sibling can take care of it by themselves, and it shouldn't be your problem. And then at one point he was like, well, I'm actually the one that killed your dad. To be real, he wasn't really a good person, and I wasn't necessarily sad that he passed away, mostly because he was really abusive, and he did a lot of stuff to me and my sibling that are just unmentionable and not okay, and no child should ever have to go through that. So when he passed away, it was more that I was sad for the father that I didn't have, and I was really sad for my sibling because my sibling lived with him more than with my mom. And I wanted to be there for them, just as like a family member, and that's what I'm supposed to do. And it's, you know, as an older sibling, that's your duty, is to take care of your younger siblings. A little bit before I came back, because I think I was gone for maybe like a week and a half, to deal with like going through his stuff and like making sure that my sibling was okay and like all the funeral was taken care of. They would like text us every day and be like, you're coming back, right? You're coming back, right? Like, when are you returning? You need to return soon. We were like, yes, we're coming back XYZ day. And they're like, well, keep us updated because like you have to be back here. And like we're driving, and it's a really far drive, and I was it's a long drive for one person to make. So we made it back down there, and as soon as we got back, I was like, I need to like take a minute and like grieve. And at the same time, we were also trying to move out of our current apartment that was in the same complex as them, a little bit further away, because we were like, maybe like renting a house would be a better idea. Just to get a little bit of space from them, because like they want us over every day, and I am exhausted. And maybe it'll make them come over to our place instead, because they never ever came over to our place. We were always required to go over to theirs. So we were moving, we came back. Shit just got real crazy towards the time that we were leaving. The first time that we met again, that night that we returned, because he was like, you have to come over, like, right now. I know that you came back, come over. And I was like, I'm fucking exhausted. I just drove. You don't want to know how many hours I drove. He's like, I don't care. You have to come over. We have stuff to tell you. And as soon as we came over, he was like, listen, all women are cheaters. All females, no matter if it's, and this is his words, no matter if it's bugs, animals, women, like human women, whatever, you are all cheaters. And I was like, what? Excuse me? What are you talking about? That's stupid. And I was like, okay. And he was like, I think that we should start mind control. We should mind control all women, because you guys don't deserve to have any sort of say in anything. I don't remember what I was thinking at that point, but I was like, I think maybe it's time to rethink my decisions about being here. I think it took about a week of me and my girlfriend talking and being like, I think it's time to leave, and I think we need to leave as gracefully as possible. So it's like, they're terrifying people. Like, he had a gun in his closet, and like, I know they had done crimes before, I don't know what, but they have. And I was like, I will not get on their bad side. I don't want to die. So we texted the girls, the wives, I guess, and we're like, hey, I think we need to talk to you, because we were like, maybe we can get one of them out. Like, maybe they'll leave with us if we tell them like what we think, and we think that he's off his rocker and something's wrong with him. And so 3 of them came over. It was Kat, Reagan, and Aaron. And they sat in the house with us, and we kind of just told them, like, hey, we think Camden's fucking nuts. Something's not right, and you should probably leave, and if you want to leave, you're welcome to stay here with us. And Erin did not take that very well, and she tried to fight one of my friends before storming out of the house. And then Kat was like, I think we need to go. And I was like, okay, well, you're still welcome to leave with us if you want to. So they left, and I was getting this really fucking bad feeling. I was like, guys, I think we should leave the house for just a little bit. Something just doesn't feel right to me, and they did not take that the way that I thought they were going to. So we got in and we left. We drove around town, and then we started getting texts and calls, and they were like, you have to call us back. You have to call us back right fucking now. And we're like, oh, we're sorry. We're picking up so-and-so from work. I don't know when we'll be back. What do you need to talk to us about? And they're like, we have to talk to you in person. After we hung up, I was like, absolutely fucking not. We are not going home. We're not going to look at their stupid ass faces. And when we did go home, it was dark outside because we had like gotten dinner and like waited in a parking lot for a couple hours. And when we did get home, there was tire tracks in our driveway and vomit, and it looked like somebody had tried to get into our house. Because there was like handprints on all the windows, and like stuff just looked like it was messed with. Like we had trees in the backyard that were like bent and snapped where they weren't before. And there were like boot marks in the dirt near the kitchen window that you can like try to get in through. I obviously did not get through. But later on I found out that they were gonna try to like break into our house and to kill our cat. Because I have no idea, but that's what they were gonna do. But we knew that they were at our house because they had Snapchat and they had location on, and we could see that they had like gone to our house. And they'd also texted us and been like, hey, we're at your house, where are you? I think just after that, like we just were afraid because they knew where we lived, and we lived there for a really long time, and we still live pretty close to them. So we've kept track of where they are living since then, just because I don't want to be going somewhere that's anywhere close to where they are, because I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know how angry they are.
What year was this, and how old were you at the time?
I think this was 2021 that we left. Sorry, I should say. So it's been about 2 years, but I don't. I'm trying to think of how old I was. Old enough that I should have known better, I should say that. But my therapist has told me that people who come from religious trauma tend to also get into cult situations just because that's what they feel is normal. So I give myself kudos for being able to leave that situation. I did want to add, to go along with the CP stuff for him, he didn't do that with me. He did, however, at one point tell all the women that we were going to take a cabin trip, and that at that cabin trip we were all going to get pregnant. And at the time I was like, what the hell, because I'm kind of gay and that doesn't work like that. And he told us we were all going to have 2 kids, like birth 2 kids, and he was going to get us high and drunk. And I realize now that it was probably going to be him doing that, because he was going to be the only one other than the women. I don't remember what year it was. It was closer to when we first went, so probably early 2020. I was definitely over the age of 18, if that's what you're asking. I can't tell you how old I was. I forget. I apologize. But he had sat us all down, and he did this a couple of times where he told us that we were going to take a mini sabbatical, and this is where we were going to transform into creatures, is how he put it. And we were going to come into our powers or some bullshit like that. And he was like, to carry on your line, you all have to have kids, and like every single one of you has to have 2, and like he had us pick out names, and like if he didn't like the names, he was like, back to square one, those aren't the names of your kids. And we were like, okay, whatever. It was just like he would push and be like, do you guys have money to go up to the cabin? Like, can we go now? Like, we should go in a couple weeks, etc., etc. And obviously we never had money because we were all very poor, and he didn't work, and I wasn't about to hand over more money than I already had, because at that point I had poured in like more than 3 or 4K into them personally, not including my own bills, which I didn't make a lot of money, so it was like everything that I had went to them. But yeah, he would push it so hard, and I'm glad that we never went. Also, to people asking how old I am, I'm 26 right now, but everything that happened within the cult is such a blur to me that I don't remember a lot, just because I was so tired, and I was drunk and high, and things are just kind of foggy a lot of times. So these are things that I remember, and it's not everything. I'm sure there's a lot more that I don't remember.
Finally, we have the last victim, Esper. Esper did not come on stream, and instead had her voice read aloud by Ellie. She doesn't say a lot, but what she does say is pretty interesting.
To add on to his horrible person that he is, I don't know if he enjoyed it, but I'm sure he fucking did, but they've killed at least 2 cats, if not 3 at this point. I wasn't there to see any of it, and I didn't know that they had killed any of them, like murdered the cats. I was told one of them had fallen and broken its neck, and I was like, that's fucking weird, but you know, shit happens, so who am I to say you're a fucking liar?
I'm sorry, who's saying this? Can we back up a bit? Like, who was saying this? When was this? He was saying
Camdan
that a cat died or something?
Yeah, the cats. They had quote unquote familiars. He was killing cats, like kitty cats.
And this is coming from the other survivor that we got into contact with at the same time as Ellie. She can give her account later. She may join the stream. We just don't know yet. But yeah, one of the cats that he may have killed was hers.
Yeah. 2, actually. I don't know if they would go adopt them or just find them, but they had quote-unquote familiars that they would give to their children. It wasn't their kids, it was other people in the cult. And I think one time it was because Aaron had acted out or something, and then her cat was dead, and I know that he killed it, but he told us that the cat went crazy and like jumped off a shelf and like landed wrong and broke its neck. The other one, we were told that I think it died of like, I don't even remember what they said it died of, but it had died, and they were like, so and so passed away. I think its name was Violet, maybe. I don't remember. Maybe that was Aaron's cat. But they killed that cat, and then they were super abusive to Cade's cat, because Cade had a cat personally that would stay in their room with them, yeah.
Isn't Cade Camdan? I'm sorry.
Yes. Sorry. Okay. He had a fucking Cade.
So this was all happening when he was living with his mom, all these cats?
No, this is actually like more recent, within the past couple years. So this is in Baldwin County.
Okay, she did give an alias. She said she's okay with using Esper as an alias. And she had a statement for everybody. She said, "I was there for 6 years. I have seen and been through short of what one would describe as hell at some points. This man took advantage of me as a fresh 15-year-old and had his grasp on me until this late April, and I almost died trying to leave when I did. I'm too scared to come on the stream at this time, but please know I am real. We are real. He stole so much from me, and I refuse to let this slide. Thank you for that.
Agreed.
Metallica, you being all weird about the whole cat thing, that information is coming from Esther. It's Ellie who is helping Esther with a voice right now because Ellie is terrified to come on here.
Beyond them being like familiars, and supposedly, I think it is part of the lore. Like, you know how witches have familiars, and like supposedly they would help out with like magic and whatever you needed. He kind of had something similar where all of us were supposed to have a pet. I can't remember if it was supposed to be all cats or cats and dogs, but he wanted everyone to have a cat at some point that would help you supposedly with your powers or whatever it was that he thought he was telling you that they were gonna help with. And if he didn't feel like you deserved them, I feel like that's when he would like kill them or whatever. Obviously he did not kill mine. I didn't let him come near my cat because mysterious cats getting killed just does not sit well with me, and so I just kind of made sure that mine was at home at all times.
So these were his cats that he was just kind of playing off and being like, this is your familiar?
He would give them like his quote-unquote kids the cats, and be like, this is your familiar. This cat will help you with your powers.
Esther says, cats were familiars that had to be trained properly, and he would take extremes to do so. He would beat them, throw them against walls, and starve them. If they were bad or you didn't deserve to have one, he would take it from you.
Yep.
Says, I had to get between him and my cat and beg him not to kill her because she pooped on the carpet.
Also, one of the survivors sent a message about the cat thing. He had killed Aaron's cat because she wasn't supposed to have it. And then the other cat he killed was sick. And then he killed Violet, I was right, because the survivor left. And then he also killed one by falling on a crate. Or falling on the crate. Oh, he fell on the crate and killed the cat.
So first question, why did the stream immediately go private? Despite these still being testimonies, these are some pretty crazy testimonies. Later on, when things start hitting the fan, Spencer and others repeat this claim that their lives are in danger currently, and nobody knew what she meant.
I censored this because I don't want, I think there's people who shouldn't be brought into it publicly and stuff, right? I agree with that. But can we not overstate it? Your lives are not in danger.
Now we can assume, and it's only an assumption, that she's referring to both Ellie and Esper since they were the two latest victims. To go along with that, Esper is testimony to show that Camdan is still a current threat, and Ellie was someone who was also in person with Camdan. The stream was taken down because Max accidentally showed one of the names of the victims, which good job buddy, but it still would have been nice to have their sections as standalones. Before we finish off this stream for good, I have more clips I want to show you. Some are about the quote, and some are just things that I wanted on the record.
He's not only 2 years older than me, he turned 27 as of December 18th. So he's like a whole year and a half older, or 2 years and a half older than me. And even then, that doesn't matter because he didn't just target me, he tried to use me to lure in other children. There was one point he tried to get a 14-year-old to live with us. She stayed one night and never came back, but what platform? They're likely using Discord at this point. Or Ellie, they are exclusively using Discord, right?
As far as I know, they're exclusively using Discord, but don't quote that, because I only know for sure that they have a Discord.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the Discord disappeared and they jumped somewhere else, just because they're very suspicious people. And if you say one wrong thing, then pack up and leave and be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Kick kind of died.
Tay Perks asked me about my name change. When I was living with Camden, my previous legal name was Shelby. You know, I went by Eliza and Cleo in the cult, and when I was in trouble and he was sexually assaulting me to punish me, he would use the name Shelby. So when I hear about that, or when I hear that name, it just brings back those memories.
Which I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Really, we would look them up, the cult, pretty much every month to be like, where are they? Are they still in the same place? Do they have any arrests, etc.? And when we found your video, I was working out, and my girlfriend was like, "Do you see this? There's a video on Camden," and I was like, "Fuck, what?" And to tell you that I cried, and I was so fucking excited. I was like, "Fuck, I need to get in contact with them. I need them to know that there's more of us."
Yeah, at the time, obviously, I was paranoid going outside. Like, oh gosh, I remember there was one time he told us that there were these giant demon spiders outside that were invisible, and the only way to get rid of them was to throw sea salt on them. So there I was, like little 14-year-old me, throwing sea salt all over my yard so that these demon spiders don't attack my family. Like, he very much liked to instigate paranoia for no reason. Hey Spence, do you remember when he said that Mike Pence was a supernatural creature who was taking control of Trump?
Didn't he say that Mike Pence was like a lizard person?
Yeah. Which I think that might have some anti-Semitic roots.
Yeah. Oh my
Listen,
gosh.
he used to tell us that he dated Halsey, and that she made songs about him. So I can't listen to Halsey anymore.
I was told that the song Blue was written about Camden.
I wasn't told what song, but he was just like, Halsey wrote a song about me.
He told me that Stevie Nicks wrote songs about me, and then that only pissed me off within these past few years because I'm like, I believed that shit. I really thought Stevie Nicks knew about me.
Bianca asked if Camden believed Jeff the killer was real.
Yes.
Probably. I think towards the end he just started believing everything.
When I lived with him, and we went on walks in the neighborhood, he would tell me about the different creepypastas that were real, and Jeff was one of them, and he was like, yeah, Jeff really likes you.
Yeah, he had a thing about the creepypastas, and he would kind of look to see what stories people were interested in, and just kind of capitalize on that, I suppose.
But I will say, apparently Camden's been telling members that he's killed both his mom and his brother.
Yeah, he told us that. He told us that he could show us where he buried them, and then also at one point, more towards the end of us being there, he told us that he had killed us and that we were just reincarnations, and he could show us our bodies.
Someone asked, do y'all think Camden was in possession of any CP, like on his phone?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I literally said earlier he took CP of me when I was 16 and lived with him and sent it to someone for money.
That
he
is
probably
what
wasn't
we told the police. Like, there's certainly CP on his devices. Please investigate. And they're like,
it's okay. This person just probably wasn't there for that part of the stream. But yes, this is just reaffirming it for everybody else who hasn't heard. But yes, he had CP of Spence when she was younger, took CP of me, took CP of another survivor, and then we also, based on like other text messages, we know that he's done this to other members as well.
Ethan keeps asking, why does everyone need to fly to Georgia in order to report? So that is what the lawyer recommended for the police to take us seriously, because we already phone called them. They did not take us seriously. I think even Ishmael did a phone call. Ishmael, do you want to talk about that?
Sure, I can. It's not so much that he didn't take me seriously as it's just the limitations of his job. He was very kind to me. I told him what happened, and he asked me if I had any photo evidence of what happened, which I don't because it was 7 years ago. And from there, he told me, like, yeah, I can't really do anything because I don't have any evidence, which I respect. I understand that. That's just the way the law works, and I respect that. But he did say he appreciated me calling, so hopefully I think just the fact that there's another allegation and like that he has my name and everything, I still think that that's worth something.
Go over this plan with a lawyer. Yes, the lawyer is the one who recommended this plan. We did call the police in his district. Do y'all want to talk about how that went?
He literally said, well, that didn't happen in our jurisdiction, so we can't do anything, but I guess I can try to go look at the house. And we're like, dude, he probably has CP. Like,
we literally asked, hey, do you have an email where we can send you evidence? And he's like, you can just call me at this district.
Yeah.
Like, what? And we have all of this recorded, which will be present in the timeline if nothing happens.
There was an investigation. There was no investigation. Yes, there was a report made, and he may have been interviewed once, but nothing came from that. Nothing. They didn't ever even contact her again to say anything to her. They ghosted her. So, no, there is a difference between being investigated and being reported. He basically treats his wives and the other people living in the house as though they're his cash cows. He doesn't work. He just sits on his ass, plays video games, and eats, and doesn't contribute to shit.
I can attest to that. I have helped them with rent and food, and there's no real right way to go about trying to bring down a cult, honestly. So, as long as we can get them taken down, yes. But I do agree from earlier that maybe putting Seema's name out there wasn't the best, because like, I don't personally believe she was involved. So maybe that wasn't like a great choice, but I can understand like trying to get a hold of his family and be like, hey, do you have any idea, like information? Like even when I first got out, we thought about trying to contact her and ask her if she knew what her son was doing. So like I've had that thought in my head, like what if I were to like email her or try to call her and be like, hey, do you know what's going on? I can understand that, but I do think that was maybe a misstep, which happens. Again, we're all human. We make missteps.
You don't think it's worth putting her name out there to get Camdan faster?
I think putting Camdan's name out there is really, really good. I think putting any of his wives, quote unquote, names are definitely good. Probably his brother, because his brother is semi-questionable. I don't really know if he's involved, but he has done some pretty fucked up things from what I've heard from one of the other survivors who lived with Camdan for longer than we were around. So, yeah.
We thought it was worth doing because this is when we didn't even know where he was. And we knew he was still active and we were desperately trying to find him.
Which is, again, valid. Like, trying to get a hold of someone where you don't even know where they live or, like, how to find their information, and trying to get a hold of family members is a good idea. I think that maybe instead of broadcasting it, maybe just having, like, your team or, like, the Discord server, like, try to search for it. Because I'm going to be real, the way I keep track of them is a couple websites where you put their name in, shows their address. You know, I'm not gonna say where because I don't want to just blast that everywhere, but you can do that and you can find their information pretty easily because, you know, it's public domain, it's out there.
I just wanted to add one final comment, and it's about how difficult making a timeline video is. Max, and more so Sylphet, is saying that this timeline video is very difficult to make.
I wanted to say, I mean, just to kind of defend you or whatever, I know I'm a dick sucker, but like, there's a lot of moving parts to this shit, and to just be like, edit a video on it, like, if you're good at that shit, dude, why don't please do it, or let's see your work. But like, Max takes a little bit of time to make his videos, and it's been like, what, 4 weeks since that stream with Muta, and since then 2 new survivors have reached out, which complicates the timeline a little bit, and And I understand. I'm sure Muta has had this experience too, where it's like there's a lot of moving parts to his story, and it's still unfolding, but you still want to make a video on it. And I don't know, like everybody can probably understand this if they just open up their heart, like mind and heart a little bit. But like, if you're just on the whole thing of, oh look, it's been 4 weeks and no video yet, like it's like, dude, have you ever edited a fucking video? It takes a long time, and especially when you are the project manager of all of this shit, and there's a documentary you're making simultaneously. There's a lot. Sorry, but yeah.
I just wanted to add too that part of what makes all of this so hard is because like the story is so complicated. It's hard just to tell the story in simple matters.
Yes.
Like I know everybody wants like a really concise and coherent video, but part of the hard thing is that this story inherently isn't uncomplicated and concise.
Well, and there's so many like views. Like all of us had different experiences, so like no two stories will be really similar.
Especially because
that
he
too.
always told us different things.
And it's quite a daunting task, especially with the evidence, but it's not impossible. In fact, I think the story is pretty straightforward when you break it down. Camdan runs a supernatural cult online, and if it's still ongoing today, he's been running it for at least 8 years. Spencer, Survivor A, who is Ishmael, Survivor C, who is given the name Crystal, and Kai were all in the cult at the same time. They experienced some disturbing things, all described in their own stories, but Kai being by Camdan really woke them all up. Spencer, Crystal, and Kai all start collecting evidence against the cult. And when they leave, they show some of the evidence to people in the cult, like Ishmael, trying to get them to leave with them. Sadly, this didn't sway any of them, and Camdan manipulated them back into the cult. So Spencer, Crystal, and Kai leave the cult, but Ishmael stays a bit longer, and she's there until she wakes up on her own and leaves. Then we have the new gen victims, Ellie and Esper, who, to my knowledge, have their own contained stories. And then there's Survivor B, who has her own story as well, but her testimony alone doesn't give us a lot. And boom, throw in some screenshots, add a call to action, and you got yourself a video. I don't think it's as hard as it sounds, especially when it's your job. Apparently Turkey Tom is making a video about Camdan, so Max completely missed his opportunity to tell this story, and I just think that's hilarious.
I guess like one thing I want to point out is like I was writing my conclusion yesterday, and I was trying to figure out like a good summary, because it's not just a summary of that video, it's a summary of the whole saga. And we didn't like expose Max. Like, I mean, Max has been exposed. We did expose him, but we like erased him. So when you go and you go check out like his YouTube channel, it doesn't show up in search. Like it's not even there. You know what I mean? Like if you want to go find out more about MamaMax and his investigation, you can't. And people are like, well, I mean, if MamaMax gets this Camdan Gerard thing, this can totally like help him and rejuvenate his career. No, it can't. All of his girls all the girls that have stories that are actionable potentially, they're working with Mutahar now. That credit's not going to go to Max if an arrest comes through. And it's like, well, Max spread the story. Yeah, but I've heard, and I'm allowed to promote, that Turkey Tom is doing a video on Camdan Gerard Davis, like I told everyone he should have from the very beginning. And when that video gets 1 million views, nobody's going to remember Max's social experiment. They're going to remember Turkey Tom as the guy who... We didn't just take away Max. We didn't expose Max. We took his story and fucking erased him from history.
His entire...
Now let's get back to where we left off, January 16th. After interviewing Spencer, RedPagen conducts an interview with Kai. It's been taken down and there's not a lot of new stuff to learn, so we're just gonna skip it. Nick and Mutahar are dead set on making a video about Max, but it was delayed by a day. Max takes this opportunity to upload a response video, I guess to try to get ahead of Nick and Muta's video, and surprisingly we do learn a bit more about Camdan. There was also another alt name revealed to us, Godric, that's a new name for me, and we get a new name out of possible names the cult went by, Eon Syndicate, which will be mentioned later. There was also this new picture of Camdan, but I believe that it's actually not new at all. Someone had found that Camdan had an arrest for driving without a license, and that's his mugshot. As for the apology, I guess you can call it that, it wasn't a good one.
I feel like I'm being pulled in every which way. And no matter how hard I try, I cannot make everyone happy. And It's very difficult. I feel like I'm in an impossible position where I just can't seem to do the right thing.
Yes, Max, this is an impossible situation. One that you set up by trying to take everything on all at the same time.
I'm sorry to my audience who don't even know what the heck is going on. Like I'm uploading shorts, I'm doing live streams, I'm doing weird ass videos. Just trying to find the remaining survivors of Camdan Gerard Davis. That has always been the goal for this awareness campaign.
Has it always been the goal, or has it been one of many goals? Are you Max Striker because you messed up the case, or did you mess up the case because you're Max Striker?
I don't want beef with anyone. Like I want to communicate openly. I'm trying to communicate with my peers. And I'm trying to listen to dissenting voices.
Something tells me that that is false.
Me specifically with him, because when he released the second video, and this is before the Charlie cancellation one where he reacts to criticisms, I felt like some of his criticisms, like he was doing a bit of deflecting, and then recently revisiting for a video this week, a lot of deflection.
People say, just wait for law enforcement to do something. But we've waited 7 years, and they haven't done anything.
That technically isn't true either. Individually, several of the victims contacted law enforcement about the situation, and it led nowhere. Then you were made aware of the case and did nothing for years. Then you were pressured to go to the cops again.
All of the survivors already went to the police, in some form or fashion. Not all, sorry. A handful have went to law enforcement. And after last stream, we realized that people wanted us to let go again, so we did. And as we expected, they didn't seem to really care. Again, that isn't necessarily the fault of the police officers. I know their hands are tied with so many different laws and regulations. People wanted evidence, so we've been inviting people to our little server where we have the evidence.
Okay, I might be reading way too much into this, but screw it, let's give it a shot. People, I assume, is referring to the regulars who watch Max's channel or caught wind of this drama, the normal guys or the general public. These people are not allowed to see the evidence. Only select content creators are allowed to see the evidence, and they aren't even allowed to see all of the evidence.
What I found out in this was even the evidence server that he brought me into, there was a super secret tier of evidence nobody got to see. So nobody, even if you wanted to understand the fucking story, you can't understand the story because you're unable to see all of this, I guess, bulletproof evidence.
But then people don't want to listen to the survivors when they're in there and just look at the evidence and conclude it's nothing.
I mean, yeah, the reason you'd let people in the evidence server is to look at the evidence and come to your own conclusions. As for the story, it's your job to tell it, and you technically did tell it, just really poorly.
And people are making all these public attacks, not platforming any of us, not wanting to talk to the survivors themselves. And when people do talk to the survivors, they're getting attacked just because they're transgender.
And this is the big thing with Max. Max has this big thing with platforming survivors, just platforming their stories. But it's more than that. It's calling for the arrest of someone for committing unspeakable acts on people for years. And hot take, Max can do whatever he wants with his channel. So if he wants to platform victims with the risk and potential blowback of it being false, then he should be able to do so. But I do think it's unfair for him to ask other people to throw away their credibility just so they can cover his story with no evidence.
This has been very difficult. And I know if I could have just started with making everything clear from the beginning, maybe this could have all been avoided.
I wonder who made it more complicated.
So, let me just walk y'all through the original plan that changed just because Spencer believed it was a better idea to name drop Camdan and face drop him for the awareness, which I actually agree with. And this is where I disagree with Muta. So my original plan was just the trailer, no Camdan Gerard Davis, no face reveal, just that there's a video coming. There's a there's a documentary coming. Spencer thought it would be a better idea to name drop and face drop
Camden just to start the awareness campaign. That changed everything. I do think it was the better choice. Again, I know Muta said like we should not be releasing anything until everything's definitive, but we would not even be talking to you, Ellie, if we went that route. Like,
this isn't meant to be a dig at Spencer, but it does segue into another topic. Nobody likes Spencer. In fact, many people are starting to believe that she, alongside Max, is making things a lot harder for all of the victims. Even if that is the case, and it might be, it's really because of Max that the public perception is so against her. Max has this stance that victims need their own platforms to speak out against their abusers, so he decides to give his platform to the victims. His channel is now theirs.
What is happening with the channel is that I'm treating it as if it is no longer mine. It is ours as the survivors.
This at first seemed noble and kind, but it quickly backfired because now he can and has hidden behind criticism using the victims as shields.
Ours as the survivors. Like, I want them to have a platform. Like, if they want to live stream, let's live stream. If you know, they want to release a short, let's release a short. I just want this platform to be theirs. Like every single video I'm releasing is getting approval from them. And if any of them disapprove, like, I'm going to fix whatever they disapprove on. I mean, do you want to speak on this?
If they want to stream, we stream. If they want to make shorts, we make shorts. So do I blame how poorly the story was told on Max or on the victims? Then add the fact that it isn't really a channel for victims, it's a channel for Spencer, and Max and Spencer seem to be lockstep when it comes to certain issues. It becomes less of Max is messing up and more of Max and Spencer are messing up. I would defer to Muta's take on this because it made the most sense to me. These people aren't coming to Max because of his clout or sub count. It's because he knows how to handle these cases, or at least he should.
Yeah, that's something that really upsets me in particular, because every single time he receives criticism on, like, why are you doing these live streams? Even to you. He said, like, the victims want to be doing these live streams. Well, they reached out to you, Max, because you have a history of doing things like this, supposedly. Maybe you should advise them that it's not best to debate Smaggle-Daggle.
One of the things is, too, is, like, he says to me, like, yesterday, it's like, my platform is for the victims. I'm giving them my platform. I'm like, they didn't come to you to leech off of your subscriber count, unless that's literally the intention, right? Like, hey, I want to build my own platform. Let's just use this already established YouTuber and just start the snowball from there. No, they came to your platform because they understand how you operate. Like, if somebody comes to me and says, Mood, I want to use your platform to expose a scam, I'm not just going to let them upload a video onto my channel. I'm going to take what they've researched, I'm going to research on top of it, and then I'm going to present it my way, right? Like, that would be what is using my own platform, right? Like, using it in a way that is actually beneficial, using it in my way to you know, talk about the story and everything. That's how I believe using you know, your platform works, right?
I just thought that if people wanted to know what was going on, they would just go to the podcast. And we put the podcast on Spencer's channel to help her build her own platform, because survivors need more than just a voice. They need financial help. They need psychological help. They need medical care. They need a loving family. They need a roof over their head. Survivors need a lot. And I've been trying to provide that.
Yes, I agree, but are you the one who can provide it? Financial help, sure, maybe, but we in the business call that a job. Having a brand new YouTube channel just getting off the ground isn't the same as having a job. You can't do it all, just do what you can. This also raises another question though. Given the fact that you want all of this done for Spencer, have you guys literally been doing nothing for 3 years? Because remember, he's known about this case for years.
When's the last time that any of this has been brought to any authorities like the FBI or police?
Probably about 3 years ago.
3 years. So you guys, now that you guys have this, and how long have you guys been sort of talking to MamaMax, or how long have you guys all been talking?
For like 2.5 years.
And feels like when we reach out for help, people just want to use that opportunity to attack us, to hate on me.
I can't speak on this much because I don't know what DMs he's had with Muta or other people he asked for help, but from my perspective, it never seemed like Max was asking for help to cover the case. He didn't spam Charlie because he wanted his help investigating, he spammed him because he wanted his voice. And it's the same with the other influencers he tried to reach out to. There was also a GoFundMe linked in the video, and in it he says, Spencer has been appointed financial manager by the survivors. Every penny raised through this campaign goes directly to benefit to them, helping cover medical expenses, legal fees, and trauma counseling. None of this funding will go towards the documentary, which has a separate financial campaign. Why is the GoFundMe for all of these things? Why is it so vague? This isn't a good apology. In fact, he probably shouldn't have uploaded this video at all, but it did make for a good laugh. January 17th, Nick and Muta dropped their videos on MamaMax. I've seen it, you've seen it, we watch other people watch it. No need to go over it, but I will reference it if need be. Oh, also the GoFundMe we just spoke about, it was reported and taken down. There were only 2 donations made when it went down, a $9,777 donation from Max and a $5 anonymous donation. You'd think that this would be the end of the drama, but in actuality, a hydrogen bomb was about to be dropped. So just to explain everything and make everything clear, Max has a Discord server where he keeps all of the evidence pertaining to the Camdan cult case. To get into the server, you need to be a content creator and sign an NDA agreeing not to share the evidence. We start getting screenshots of conversations within the evidence server being leaked out to the public. These conversations involved Max and Spencer considering the idea of suing Mutahar for breaching the NDA. That way, they would have more money for the case against Camdan. We would later be treated to more of this conversation, showing us that the only people on board with this idea are Max Spencer. Again, lockstep on an issue even though the majority are still on the fence. Max then releases a Patreon post, nothing new here, just him giving a speech. Now onto something interesting. Angry Slug was Max's former editor who would later leave Max because of his actions during this drama. He is completely irrelevant, but he held a stream where he watched Nick Deorio's video and Ellie, one of the victims, came on and gave her thoughts about it.
You want to know my real take on the live streams? They were really fucking bad. I even DM'd Max, like, listen to Muta, end the stream.
Yeah, they weren't good.
God.
I will say we weren't exactly briefed on the situation either, and I didn't know that other people were going to be coming into the chat.
Like, I'm not saying you guys don't have evidence, it's just you guys don't have evidence that could hold up under a court of law yet. Because
I think really we need to sit down and like have an evidence day where people like actually go like look on their phones instead of just be like random drop evidence, you know?
Now Muta's helping in the background, being a liaison, which is pretty good, pretty pog.
I'm a dwarf now. But yeah, I'm glad Muta is gonna be helping that.
What is your opinion on Max moving Spencer in?
I don't want to say too much because I don't know the full situation.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it's bad or like something nefarious is going on. I'm not saying that at all.
No, not at all. I think that because they were friends before, I think in that situation it's fine because they were family friends and that just like you would move in with your bestie if something happened and they offered. But professionally, no. I would have definitely have wanted to like move into my own apartment and like have my own space. But like I don't know the situation, so I can't like I don't know.
Gonna GoFundMe. That is because I'm contractually obligated to see this case through, and we're gonna find
what
her
does
her
he
own
mean
place.
contractually obligated?
I don't even know, and I edit for the guy. What does he mean? That's weird.
I'm genuinely curious.
Is it like a lease?
Did they sign a contract or something?
Like, does that contract cover if the thing doesn't have any, like, results?
Oh no. Why is one of the victims in charge of all of the money? Why are you not in charge of all of the money? Ethical complaints.
I'm not gonna lie, that's an actual good point.
I did wonder that. I mean, like, I don't I don't care who's in charge of the money. I'm gonna be real, I'm not here for the money, and I have a job. But I did wonder why Max wasn't in charge of the money, since it's his channel and, like, he's supposed to be helping.
The guy.
The dude, the man.
The guy.
I mean, like, I'm sure Spencer's responsible with the money. I'm not saying, like, he's not or anything. But, I don't know, or, like, maybe have, like, a financial manager do it. I don't know. I don't know the situation.
Actively reached out to many different reaction channels.
Why reaction channels? Like, I've had a lot of questions for Max. Like, I don't think negatively of him. I'm just confused.
I mean, there are, like, actual, like, pedophile hunter YouTubers, like Skeeter Jean and, like, Oma and some other ones that I don't know their names of, but, like, I feel like they would be helpful in this.
Were those live streams what you envisioned?
No, they were not. I honestly had no idea what I was getting myself into. I thought that we were going to hop on. We were going to tell our story. Maybe we'd get asked some questions by Max and then by the chat. And then we'd hop the hell off. And that's definitely not what happened.
Yeah.
I can't say it wasn't kind of funny to sit on a call that Keemstar was in as somebody who grew up on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, not in the best situation, obviously, but it was not.
Yeah.
Not anything like I thought it was gonna be.
I don't know. I'm mad that I can't do more for you guys, but it's also like, the fuck am I able to do? What will I do?
I don't
Piss
even
on
know
the
what
floor?
we can do. I'll be real.
Most you guys can do at this point is like what? Just try and press charges? Okay, that's cool. That's Pog. Let's go, Poggies. But it's like, what's next?
Absolutely. I feel directionless sometimes, so.
Hi, May. Real quick, I actually have a question for Eli. How did you come across Max?
The YouTube video. It when I watched it, I was like, I'm glad somebody's finally, like, it's somebody out there has had a similar experience. But at the same time, I was like, why is it like this? Like, I don't know who he's trying to reach, but it can't be us. Like, I don't know if this is a joke. I don't know. It just, like, I was glad, but also at the same time confused.
Okay.
To the approach.
Yeah, not good. Even some of the people Max is trying to help are dissatisfied with how it's going. You'd think that this couldn't get any worse, but it does. Meet Ponyus, 37454. Ponyus successfully infiltrated Max's server and leaked everything. Why did he do this? Because I hate pedo hunters. I was pissed off and I'd been abused before, so I wanted to humiliate Max and to see if I could actually do it. And he did actually do it. But how did he actually do it? Ponyus first spoke to Nicole of the RedPagen network. For context, RedPagen is someone who is somewhat a part of Max's campaign. She held 2 interviews with 2 of the victims. Ponyus introduces himself as someone who is a big fan of Nicole's content and as a victim of Camdan, who is afraid of speaking up. Nicole understands and asks him if he wants to speak with Max. Ponyus responds by saying that he would like to speak with Max and asks to join a server where his abuse story can be shared and where he can meet friendly people. Nicole suggests Max's server. Ponyus sends a voice message and asks to be invited to this server. We don't have any audio from any of these messages, but looking at a DM Ponyus would later send the lyrics, he had a low speech impediment, which gave off the vibe of a traumatized kid. Nicole says that she's not in Max's server, but would be willing to put them in touch with each other. Ponyus continues to chat with Nicole about having anxiety and PTSD. Lots more voice messages are sent for ease of conversation. Nicole says that she messaged Max, Spencer, and one of the other victims. She also mentions to Max about Ponyus' concerns in regards to harassment. This is where the conversation ends, but Nicole sends a follow-up message. Due to all the criticism Max has gotten about not contacting the police, Nicole encourages Ponyus to make a police report himself. She expresses her feelings about the ongoing drama, how she just wants to see all the victims get justice, and you get to see that she is slowly starting to doubt Max and question the investigation. And that's it for RedPagen's involvement. I know a lot of people like to make fun of this person.
No one's a fan of this dumb bitch's content.
But honestly, she was fine. A victim came to her and she got him in touch with Max while also showing support. The only thing to point out is that it's kinda weird that she was the one who was contacted first. Of course, from Ponyus's point of view, contacting Nicole was a very good idea because now he can use her to boost his own credibility. But from Nicole's point of view, and not to be mean, but she is a very small channel and was a very small footnote in this entire drama. It's a little strange that she didn't question the fact that a victim went to her instead of Max, you know, the person who's been running this campaign, but it's fine, like I said. Ponyus' next point of contact was Spencer. She asks if he is a survivor of Camdan. Ponyus then sends a 33-second voice clip. After the voice message, Ponyus uses his connection with RedPagen well. Spencer applauds his bravery, says that he could be a part of the legal process if he so chooses, says that nothing will be put on YouTube without his consent, and asks to schedule a call with herself and Max. Ponyus says that he needs some time to think about it, but might be interested in the legal process. He expresses his fears and says that he'd love to have a call with them. Spencer says that's fine, and Ponyus says that he will explain things further in the call. But first, he asks about a server that he can join where he could speak to and meet friendly people. They both send voice messages, and Spencer sends a link to her personal Discord server. Ponyus thanks Spencer, and she decides to call it a night after asking a question. Ponyus answers the question, claiming to have a disorder that doesn't exist. I think it's major depressive disorder, not extreme. Spencer responds with a date for the call and asks for follow-up questions, and Ponyus agrees. Now we get to the big dog, MamaMax. Ponyus immediately glazes Max, saying that he clearly cares about the victims. Max replies saying that it's just a part of advocacy. Ponyus says that he is a victim of Camdan, but because of the online hate, is now too scared to come out. Max reassures him that he doesn't have to go public, but if he wants to testify against Camdan, he needs to verify his identity. Ponyus says it's fine, but still wants more time to process everything. Max grants this request, but also mentions that more testimonies could make for faster arrest. He calls Max a hero, and then asks to be invited to a server where the other victims are in order to share his story. Max agrees, and he asks Ponyus' full name to protect the server. Jamie feels is the given name, and Max asks for a form of ID. Ponyus says that he thinks he has one, but still lives with his parents, so he needs to ask them. Max asks if Ponyus' parents know about the situation, and he replies with a no. He never told them because they are abusive. Max says that it's probably for the best. Lots of voice memos pass. Max says that an ID isn't needed, just a document with his name and a pic of his face is fine. More voice messages later, more Ponyus sucking up to Max later. One thing I want to mention is that the response to the voice message implies that Ponyus can't get the ID or identifying information because of home issues. Max asks Ponyus if he is at least able to sign an NDA, and he agrees. Max inquires about an email, specifically one with a full name, and he provides one. Ponyus then signs the NDA, I think, and Max sends him a link to the server. Okay, so there's two things that I find that are weird, but I don't know how hard of a stance I want to take. The first weird thing to me is that Ponyus was able to get this far between Max and Spencer, but Ponyus hasn't even explained like how he's been abused by Camdan. Like I would assume a question like, oh, how did you meet Camdan? Or hey, what's your Camdan story? Stuff like that would come up. The reason I'm not so hard with this one is because it's probably in the voice messages. Like Ponyus probably gave them a little spiel about how they've been abused by Camdan using the voice messages, and I don't know what they say because I don't have that audio. The second thing is about victims, right? We need to get more victims to help build the case. We need more victims. But should we consider the type of victim we have? Like the person that Ponyus is pretending to be is like this young kid who doesn't have access to his ID, has to get his ID from his parents but can't because they're too abusive, also has depressive disorders. Like I don't think it's too wise to add this victim to the legal case. And the reason I'm not so strong on this one is because maybe it is a very dire situation where we do need all of the victims to build the best case possible. And Ponyus, if he was real of course, did seem interested in the legal case. Maybe Max could have asked a few more questions to Ponyus, gauging whether or not he's mentally ready to do this or not. But I'm not so strong on this, I just wanted to throw it out there. We come back to Max making sure that all of the channels are locked, and he reveals that he banned Angry Slug. He assumed that Angry Slug was the one who leaked everything. After discussing Slug and the mentioning of a leaked call, Ishmael links Nick Deorio's video. Spencer says that she was crying and asking why Nick prioritized commentary channels over speaking to the victims, and that the full call made him look bad. To answer this question, Nick probably prioritized commentary over platforming the victims because he is a commentary channel who hosts rape reviews, and probably shouldn't be the one platforming victims. That is Max's job, and at this point Max has platformed the victims, just very poorly. So no, this isn't a slam dunk. Another victim acknowledges the things being said about Max and wants an honest explanation. Ishmael chimes in, and I think Chud Logic believes that she was talking about and sweeping for Max.
And then look at Ishmael also. I don't know what Ishmael's role is in this, but it's insane to me that like they're saying that they're lying about the content of the call, and then here they're like trying to act like they're wrong to ask for like, you know, more information.
But just for the record, she's actually talking about Mutahar in the first half of the message and is responding to Spencer. Muta came on stream twice to give solid advice and did speak to some of the victims. So as Ishmael rightfully points out, what else would they say to Nick or Muta that hasn't already been said? Ishmael also asks for advice as to what they should be doing going forward, and a victim suggests that they get in a group call to figure out what's going on. They all continue to discuss the narratives put out online and what they should do. They all pretty much agree to stop talking about this publicly at all and just to let everything die down. Just take a break and focus on the legal case. They even go so far as saying that they probably should have never gone public and that all the videos should be taken down, which Max did agree to. Max finally comes in saying that he's down to do whatever they want him to do and that any honest direction would be appreciated. His current plan is to lay low and find more survivors. They plan out when to group call, and Spencer making the comment apologizing for starting all of this, further submitting that it's her and Max running the show. Max responds saying that it's not her fault and that people are trying to farm content out of her suffering. Max then invites a new member into the server, 4. 4 is obviously Ponyus' pseudonym. Everyone greets 4 with open arms and actually asks him a few questions about the cult. So things aren't adding up because Slug was banned and things are still getting leaked. They start panicking because they are leaking everything without censoring it. Amidst all the panic, Max suggests reporting all the channels covering the leaks. They're all trying to figure out what was leaked and who did it. Max still thinks it's Angry Slug, but someone points out that it can't be him because it's showing leaks that happened after he was kicked. Finally, our saga ends. Spencer finds out that it was Ponyus who leaked everything from the server. He tries to give some explanation, but Spencer wasn't buying it. Ponyus was sniffed out, but he did everything he came to accomplish. He started leaking the information to bigger content creators, and within days, everything was leaked to the public. Lyrics and Chud Logic covered Ponyus' infiltration into the server. Queeman covered the actual evidence that was in the server after censoring it, and Mr. Sen, he just leaked everything uncensored. So right here, I was going to play clips from a leaked call between the leakers of the evidence because I thought we would get new information. I am not going to do that, but this is the perfect example of how Max's influence can ruin everything. For context, Ponyus apparently has a team of leakers with him now, aiding him in the distribution of evidence. And some of them are not on the same page, which warranted this call. Firstly, Ponyus already leaked the evidence, so this call is pointless.
No, but like, I know that I've made mistakes because originally I was alone in this. I had no idea what was I supposed to do. And you know what? I can acknowledge those things. I fucked up. I gave it to Slug, I gave it to Sen, and that's fucked up because I didn't know about them.
They're all unbelievably biased towards Spencer to the point where they believe Max did nothing wrong.
Here's the thing though, is that like Max isn't the bad guy.
It's
the
Spencer.
fucking bad guy is Spencer. Spencer is the villain.
Can I tell you what I've been thinking? And I've been telling some people this. I think Spencer manipulated Max into this whole thing. Because
Yes.
I could be...
Colton, the one getting the most heat, wanted to wait until Valentine's Day to leak the evidence on a stream for charity.
I'm gonna leave the internet for good after, because I've been getting myself involved in too much of this stuff. The stream itself is gonna be a fundraiser for Rain.
Like, why? What's the point? Then we get this clip.
I contacted a girl on Facebook who was underneath Camdan's shit on Facebook. Like, these comments were years and years old, like photos with him, and I talked to her and she didn't know what was going on. She said she ain't talked to him since she was 14 or 15. And I told her what was going on, and I said, lock down your profile, delete all your old comments, because people will find it and try to harass you or ask you about it. And I said, don't talk to Max, don't talk to anyone, go to the cops. She said, I know about 4 or 5 girls, and I'll contact them right away, and we'll go to the police.
Why are you doing this? Why are you reaching out to people, telling her to delete some form of long-lasting proof showing that Camdan was contacting minors? Wasn't the point of this entire anti-campaign against Max to condemn vigilantism? Max is taking on a case way larger than him, and these people are doing the same. But I guess since they're the good guys, it's fine. They all think super highly of themselves, like they have some huge duty, when in fact they deceived others into getting evidence they weren't supposed to have.
Money has been given to these fucks. Too much anything. We don't want anyone else to capitalize or make anything off of it. We want this shit. I mean, am I getting paid to fucking sit here for hours reading this retarded shit about vampires and lichens?
They get things wrong about the case.
Spencer should go to jail for actually getting an 11-year-old girl in that house.
Camdan was booked 10/17/2023 for drunk driving.
The girl wasn't 11, she was 14. It was not drunk driving, it was driving without a license. And these would be like small things, like whatever. But in this call, they're also alleging some pretty heavy stuff.
To do what? It was what so far they've done what? Fraud with GoFundMe. So that's one crime, alright? Bribery, which he's tried to bribe Pony, he's tried to bribe a couple of people in that server, like we have screenshots of that. Okay, extortion, NDAs. There's like he can go to prison.
He's paid people off.
Yeah, and we have proof of that. Yes, and
Yeah, I have proof. We have proof of him paying people.
we have proof that he's orchestrated fake evidence.
The worst one though is this J-Mac guy. He's getting put on blast recently because he's trying to play both sides, helping with the evidence getting leaked in one breath.
But we obviously don't want this cannot just be frivolously leaked.
And then in another breath was telling Spencer how he wants to help her and how Chud Logic doxed him when he didn't. Then he gets on a stream and we figure out what his definition of doxing actually is.
No, I didn't have a good understanding of what doxing meant, if I'm being completely honest.
Right, so you thought doxing was watching someone else's YouTube video on a stream?
Without their permission, yeah. That's...
Fuck off. How old are you?
How 34?
34. And you think that showing up someone's YouTube channel is doxing them?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what I said.
All of these people suck. They all are just like Max. The victims should cease contact with these people.
Yes, I am in constant contact with...
I'm the two I'm talking to are
They do not care about any of these victims at all. Let's get back to the video. So now, after all of this time, we have the evidence. Meh. I was debating on whether I should show the leaks, avoid them, or even make this video at all. Once I actually saw the leaks on Queenman's stream, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I am going to read some of the leaked messages. I think this is fine since it's been long enough, and I don't think there's any harm to it because they're all already public. I will be using Queenman's version of the evidence, so full credit goes to him and his team for censoring everything. I will not be reading every single screenshot. His video is there for you to watch, and it would get too repetitive. I will be adding a little bit of context for jumping off points, but I'll try not to link messages to names. Queenman and his team went through a lot of work to censor the names and not link specific messages with specific people, so I think it would kinda be a rude thing of me to just go, oh yes, I know exactly who these people are and what they're referring to. With all of that being said, let's look at Evidence.max. So I went through and sorted the evidence into categories, and the biggest category was one I like to call waking up to the cult's lies. If you recall, around May of 2017 was when Kai was by Camdan. This event drove Spencer and others to collect evidence against the cult in order to report them and maybe save some of the people in it. Kai's sexual assault didn't just inspire Spencer to act, it had a huge ripple effect throughout the entire cult, and many other members started to question things. Moment she came in, it went poof. Cade never loved her, and she's been lying to you. She was never pregnant. Cade never slept with her. She was in a different room. Dude, she didn't take your fucking money. You're seriously going to believe the 2 people who took over 10k from you and you have evidence? I am so done with this. Believe whatever the hell you want to believe. You know who the real enemy is, and they've torn you apart and scarred you forever. Here we are trying to help you, like we always have, and you'll still side with the enemy. Goodbye, blank. I'm done trying to help you. Bye, traitor. I know the real truth. Out of all the people in the family, who was there for you? Me. After everyone treated you like an enemy and still gave you a chance because she knew you weren't the bad guy, after being on the phone with you for hours, letting you vent and cry about how much they screwed up your life because you were broke, well, here I am now, trying to fix that problem and hopefully get you back that money. You're almost homeless, blank. I've always been there for you and always wanted to help you. And now that you have the chance, you're throwing it away because you're letting him get to you. I can't believe this or you. Forget I ever asked to help. All the kids, blank, etc. What did she say? Also, how come you left? He did some fucked up shit and showed up at my house one day with no real warning, and then proceeded to threaten to kill my husband. WTF, dude, whatever he has done or said to you, let us know because we're building up a ton of things to put his ass in jail. Blank just threatened blank's younger sisters. Some shit with Cade is going really sour, like worse than it was. Yeah, what is happening? Basically, we want to know your opinion on Cade, things he's personally told or done to you, if you think he's fake or real, etc. Anything about him would really help. I think he's really fake, not trustworthy. Everything he's tried to pull off as proof was always a video, never IRL. He really wanted to fuck me, saying we had to have a kid together. You're not the only one. What was the real reason you got removed? Apparently, he has to have a kid with everyone. Is he saying he kicked me out? No, lol. I called him on his bullshit and told him to fuck off and stop talking to me, that I wanted nothing to do with his stupid fucking cult. Okay, so there's another lie. He said he kicked you out because you refused to change your kick name. I also told him that was really dumb before I called him out and left. Well, he raped someone recently. She didn't follow dad's instructions. Yep, nothing justifies rape. This isn't right. I've thrown a 230-pound man into a wall before, but it was life or death. Lol, same, except he went through the wall for me. I didn't even know where that strength came from. Lamau, it's adrenaline. I know that now, but I didn't then. Like, in the moment, I was scared, shocked, and angry, so I couldn't process what happened. Lamau, I seriously hope Cade goes to prison. He better, or this government is unjust. He finds ways to get around the law. That's stupid. He raped one of my friends, got her pregnant, and she reported him, but they did nothing. Jesus Christ, fuck our government. That's what I'm saying. Then you came back, and things were better from there on out. Then you scared the fuck out of me. How so? Everyone said you were dead. Threw yourself off a dam or some shit. And I was afraid you actually did. When I found you on Facebook, my heart stopped. Partly because I was afraid you hated me for our history, but also because I was overjoyed that you were alive. So just from reading these, I believe that these did not happen in the cult. These were like when 2 people already escaped the cult and are finding each other. I don't know how I managed to get as bad as I did. Running away and everything that led up to it was because of Cade. But I trusted him, and yeah, he could have killed me. He tried to. I'm not gonna ask what happened because I imagine it was deep shit. But when I heard you were back, I was so excited. We talked a little bit when I was with my foster parents, I think. Oh yeah, in like Georgia or something? Yeah. That was weird, Lamau. Oh, that was when I first found out you were alive. Yeah, after that I got moved to a group home. I was so stressed and depressed, my hair was literally falling out. Jesus Christ, when did you decide to come home? When one of the staff members at the home was being mentally abusive to myself and the other girls, and also my great-grandfather had taken a bad fall, and my caseworker was refusing to approve any of the medical stuff knowing I needed to go to a doctor. I came back the week of Thanksgiving in 2016. Oh, okay. How do you feel about being back? I'm glad I am. I only stayed because Cade kept threatening my family. He had me terrified and wrapped around his finger. I know that's not a lot from this section, but trust me, all of the screenshots from this group are kinda like this. It's basically people waking up to the cult's lies, telling each other the experiences they had within the cult, trying to convince people to leave, recounting their own stories that we've already heard before. The next section contains messages with or about Camdan. This was the most interesting thing to me because we haven't heard from the man himself, so let's begin. So this is a conversation between Camdan and some other person. Camdan says, laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji. And the rest of these messages are from random cult members. Nothing but D. Help me. Okay, finally, someone laughed. I didn't want to be the first to laugh. Whoa, Cade laughed. I must screenshot this. So Cade seems to be a very popular figure, which makes sense, he is in charge of the cult. Okay, this is a message to Cade, and it's someone leaving the cult. Hey, I think it's best that I leave. This whole sleeping with you thing right now is just not making me feel comfortable. I know I'll lose blank, but this is something I don't think I'll ever be comfortable with. I also miss this feeling of being human. For once, I'm not in pain or feeling sick. I met an amazing guy who makes me happy, and I'm afraid if I tell him, he won't want me anymore. And this is someone I've been searching for my whole life, and I think Dad answered those prayers. I know if I'm human, I'll still be in danger, but we all have a destiny, and if I die, I die. I don't want to lose any of you, and I want to make Dad proud, but how am I supposed to take care of others when I can't even help myself? This is a lot for me to handle. I can't handle as much as you or other people. I'm different, you know. Not only that, but I miss blank. She was my best friend and it's going to be hard without her. And I'm not asking you to bring her back because I think it's best that she's out. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I'm not exactly happy, and all this pressure on me always puts me in a bad place, so I think it's best if I leave. I'm sure blank or blank wouldn't mind taking over the internals. They're both amazing leaders. I'm sorry, I just don't think I was meant for this. If I was, we wouldn't be having these problems. Heaven and hell won't have to worry about me. Dad won't have to worry about me, and neither will you. To be honest, I think heaven would have a party if I was gone, and you know, it's fine. I'm sorry, Cade. We need to talk. On the phone? No, but I need you to get in the car and come here now. What's going on? Just do it. You're scaring me. Can you or not? First off, I'm really sick and uncontrollably daisy, and my stomach is in a lot of pain. Can you or can't you? Question mark. I can't. When can you? Either December or January. I had an interview for a job today, but I'm so sick I couldn't get out of bed. Crying emoji, crying emoji, crying emoji. Question mark? You're low-key scaring me. Just ask to go on a trip and get here for a week or two. That's kinda creepy. Please explain what's happening. What? Why do I need to get to Georgia so quickly for? Just come. I will do my best, I swear. Just please tell me why. Like, are you secretly plotting to kill me? No, I need to teach you. Teach me what? How to be a leader. Oh, right, duh. And how to turn people. I see. Leave now. Wait, what? You need to find a way to leave now. You do realize that Georgia is all the way across the country. Not that far. Not that far? It'll take me days. What is your address? It's a one-day trip. One. Seriously? 1 day, 18 hours. Come, okay? I'll have to get a plane or bus or train. Why? I was supposed to get a car 2 days ago, but I ended up getting really sick. I still am. My parents haven't taken me out to get driving experience yet, and I keep trying to get them to take me. And I have no money right now. I was hoping to go to my interview today, but now it's getting rescheduled, and I won't find out until next Monday. Everything was working out until I got sick. I still am sick. I feel like shit. Nah, I'm done. I'm sorry, but still, I don't like hearing it. I just wanted to let you know what was going on. Everyone is laughing at her because she's so fucking pathetic. Well, I'm sorry. Nah, just go. I can't deal with anyone who deals with her. So if you have to be her friend, then don't fucking talk to me. Blank doesn't like her. I don't like her. Blank doesn't like her. No one likes her. Because she's not worth my time nor my thought. Because that's exactly what she is. A thought. And I don't mean that hole over there. I mean an experience that I honestly hope would have stayed in my head. So please, for me, fuck off until I say otherwise. Cade, please. I'm sorry. I'll try and do better, I promise. I won't talk about her anymore to you. Nah, bruh, you legit don't know how many people hate her, so in return, they dislike you now. Just because of who I'm cool with? So I'm out. I don't need him hating me too. Who? Who do you think? I don't know. I'm tipsy. I'm so sorry. So now Cade gives his phone to his boyfriend. Look, it's blank. Leave my boyfriend alone with this shit. To be honest. Bro, I don't mean any harm. Fuck you, that was for blank. What does the screenshot accomplish? Me trying? I didn't mean to. I'm cuddling him and it slipped. I hope you're having fun with that. Promise me you'll treat him right, please? Just a screenshot? Well, have a good day at school tomorrow, I suppose. What the fuck are you talking about? You might want to answer. Guess you don't want to talk. Tick tock. Hold on. Tell her Cade says she has one more time to bother his family before he makes a visit to Texas and certain people. Then block her. And the image sent was actually evidence we saw a while ago because it was sent to Charlie in a DM. Didn't Blank rape Blank? WTF? From what Blank told me, she said that Blank sexually assaulted her. I'm sorry, I can't have her around the pack if that's true. That is a damn lie. That was Blank. I forgot to put I. The pack is done. As in, Cade broke it off with Blank, and I'm part werewolf, but I'm sure you wouldn't want to follow just me. Wait, you mean the pack is done? I don't know how to lead. So you and Cade are not working together no more? Looks like trouble in paradise. The only question I have is Cade talking about leaving the cult, like the entire thing, or is he done running his own group? Because the terms pack and cult get mixed up a lot. Camdan runs the entire cult, but he, just like Spencer and Kai, have their own pack/group they watch over. I know it says pack, so you think it's about his own little group, but there was actually a voice message to go along with this, and in it, it sounded like he wants to leave the entire cult.
Blank said she heard him packing bags on the phone. Good for him. Maybe the police are after him, okay? So that's what the messages say in this screenshot. We've got the voice note here.
Hey, this is Cade. I just want to go ahead and give you your fair warning that I am leaving. This is goodbye. I am done. Obviously, I tried to put together a family, but I only made disaster. I wish you best of luck in life, and I wish it for all of you. I hope you find whatever you look for in this world. Hope you find your happiness.
Here we have a GoFundMe started by an individual in the cult. Hi everyone, for a long time now, I've been working with the supernatural, seeing their culture, laws, and everything in between, different species, and documenting them. This money I'm raising is to create an institution to protect, save, care for the sick, homeless, and injured supernaturals and their families. I have seen a lot of them that have been killed by hunters or high-tech traps, and a lot of these tribes have been wiped out by man. That's why this organization that I'm creating will not only protect them, but to help bring their numbers back up to balance them. These tribes are not the monsters we think from bedtime stories. They can look like us and talk like us. Hunting a human is the last thing on our minds. The organization will end to supernatural hunting forever and save the remaining ones to continue our sightings and legends. And as you can see, there has been 1,000 Australian dollars raised. Lastly, let's talk about the cult itself. You know, its structure and how it ran. Firstly, we have a description of the cult that reads, the cult was a web of group chats on Whisper, under the guise of a family. Camdan was the father or head of the family. Under him would be his brothers and sisters, and each of them would be a different supernatural creature. Camdan claimed to not only be a werewolf, but somebody who could talk to God directly. In addition to this, Camdan claimed that he could see into the future, had photographic memory, could hear the heartbeats of people he was talking to, and look into the houses of the members. The group had a pyramid-like structure. Each of Camdan's sisters or brothers had their own group, and among that group would be their own children, who would be Camdan's nieces or nephews. Below those children would be their coven, fledglings, or pack members, who did not go by familiar terms, but were just there to be a part of it. Each group would be a different kind of supernatural creature. The group was mostly female, especially those who were considered his siblings, but there were many male members as well. We were often warned about leviathans or hunters coming after us. The hunters were religious fanatics who thought we were evil because we were supernatural and wanted us gone. We were told they would follow us in crowds or drive cars with heavily tinted windows. If a member left, we were often told they joined the side of the hunters. If a member was kicked out, everyone was instructed to block them and never contact them again. Depending on who they were, we would also need to make entirely new accounts. Next, we have someone writing a recruitment letter trying to get more people into their pack. Hello, all your life, you have probably been told that there is no such thing as the supernatural. I'm here to say that's not 100% true. Now reading that, I'm guessing that there are many reactions and feelings going on in your head. Let me explain for a moment. I'm a supernatural myself. An Eternal to be specific. A Eternal is basically a hybrid of a vampire and a werewolf. I'm part of a very large pack. I'm one of the alphas. We have multiple alphas for each species. or section of the pack. I'm currently trying to grow my section since we are currently low on numbers, so let me explain some more. Basically, we look for humans to join the supernatural to grow our numbers. That's how I was brought here. There is a main alpha for each breed. In our pack, there are many different breeds: Eternals, Hexabeasts, Demi-Wolves, Hellhounds, Pure Wolves, and Arc Wolves. So these are different breeds within the pack. Each breed has a main alpha. As I said, those alphas have a smaller pack of their own that is their own kind, but we're all still one big family. I'm currently trying to grow the Eternal side of the pack. The main alpha of each species will choose 3 pack members from their side of the pack to be their adoptive children. Those children are known as fledglings and are also alphas. I'm a fledgling of the alpha of the Eternal pack. All of the main alphas of the packs are adoptive brothers and sisters. The alpha of the Pure Wolves has a connection with Heaven, who is able to give each alpha their supernatural ability. It is then up to the alpha to spread their supernatural essence. Now you may ask, how do you become a supernatural by joining this pack? There are multiple ways. The most popular way is by bond. If you believe in the supernatural and begin to bond with one of the alphas and they feel a supernatural bond back, there is a chance you may begin to transform. If an Eternal bites you with their fangs, you will also turn. If you exchange blood with a supernatural, then you will also turn. Not everyone can turn by bond, obviously, so many of you will have to wait until everyone meets in real life in order to turn. However, many people have already begun their transformation into a supernatural via bond. The transformation can be long and a bit painful process. The transformation from human to Eternal can take from a few weeks to even a whole year. The transformation gives off many symptoms and feelings. For example, weakness, dizziness, headaches, muscle aches, teeth pain, jaw pain, tightness in the chest, increased desire for sex, increased hunger, cravings for blood, sensitive emotions. It can be complicated, but I promise it is worth it in the end. Basically, during the transformation, your body dies and comes back to life. Your soul upgrades into an angelic force. Being an Eternal comes with many powers. However, these powers come with time. Even after the transformation is done, it still takes a lot of time to learn and control your powers. Eternals can both beta and omega shift. Beta shifting is a basic form of shifting. Your fangs will extend, your eyes can change color, your craving for blood is incredibly enhanced. You will become incredibly strong and fast for a short period of time. During an omega shift, you literally turn into a wolf. You become incredibly strong and fearsome. Both methods of shifting are incredibly painful and come with time and patience. Shifting can be triggered by intense emotions or anger. Eternals are not the strongest, but one of the fastest breeds of wolves. Hexabeasts are very spiritual and have many magical properties. Like Eternals, mastering this comes with time. Hexabeasts can control the elements of nature and have a bright white fur coat when they are in Omega form. They can shift like Eternals can, however they do not crave blood like us. Demi-Wolves are also very spiritual and divine creatures. Demi-Wolves are very special in appearance. In their Omega form, they have beautiful spiritual markings on their back. Demi-Wolves are weaker in strength and slower in speed, but they are incredibly cunning. Demi-Wolves can astral project, purify, and give blessings. However, only the alpha of the Demi-Wolves can access all of these abilities at once. Betas can only access one at a time, and like the rest, these come with time. Pure Wolves do not have many special abilities, but they are the strongest out of all the wolves. Pure Wolves are the only breed of wolf that are capable of alpha shifting. Alpha shifting is one of the most dangerous and fearsome forms that a wolf can take. Many wolves make a vow to never shift again after alpha shifting. Pure wolves are incredibly strong and powerful. Archwolves are a hybrid of angel and wolf. They are very divine and bring good luck and happiness to the people around them. Archwolves have a very unique way of spreading their supernatural by howling. Their howl can be heard from 50 miles away, and they are very holy creatures. Archwolves will spread happiness to the people they are around. As you can see, our pack is really diverse. However, there are limits on people who can join. You must be around the ages of 10 to 15. You must be a believer of the supernatural. You cannot be in any other packs while you are in ours, and you must give up using any Ouija boards or dark magic while with us. And then one little FAQ, how do I bond? There is no how to, it just comes to you. Don't force it. When will we all meet in real life? And that's where it ends. That was a lot, but we are not done because we get this info dump about wolves. As you can already tell, despite this being a supernatural cult, it has a very large emphasis on wolves. Werewolves are not as depicted in most literature. Usually, wolves are helping keep their own territory safe or just keeping to themselves. Based off of what movies, books, and legends say, wolves are vicious serial killers who cannot control themselves. This is not only a lie, but also wrong in many ways. Wolves only kill when threatened, when their family is in danger, or when they need to defend something precious. Werewolves can actually take many forms. There's a form known as Beta, where a wolf still has the physical shape of a man, but has a distorted face, claws, fangs, growing eyes, and even pointed ears. There is Omega, where the wolf can take the form of a somewhat regular looking wolf, but that wolf will be 3 times the size of a natural wolf, and would also have glowing eyes. And finally, there is Alpha. In this form, which only a purebred alpha can achieve, the wolf's body is going through extreme hot flashes, the tearing of muscles, and multiple other gruesome acts to complete the form. The completed transformation looks like that of a human/wolf hybrid. So just for context for this next part, a purebred I think is someone who is just naturally born a alpha wolf or a beta wolf, but you can also be a regular human who transformed into a wolf and then you become a turned alpha wolf or a turned beta wolf. A purebred alpha wolf can utilize all 3 forms. A purebred beta can utilize both beta and omega. A turned alpha can use both beta and omega with ease, but alpha will be a challenge. And a turned beta can use beta form with ease, omega with practice, but alpha form would be impossible. Finally, contrary to popular belief, wolves have few weaknesses. Silver does not affect us as most movies claim, but if sharpened will cause damage as anything sharp could. Wolfsbane, what is Wolfsbane? Does not affect us as most believe. In fact, it affects us the way marijuana affects normal people, munchies included. Our only true weaknesses are cinnamon because it slows the healing by half, fire since it seals off the wound, the body believes it has nothing to heal, which means it will take longer for it to heal, and electricity. We can't shift or think properly while being electrocuted. Lastly, and I promise you this is the last one, we have a YouTube channel, Freedom Speech, and luckily I did take a few screenshots while the stream was happening so we can see how it was originally. There were only 3 videos uploaded to the channel, all of which consisted of white text against a black background with strange trance music. By looking at all 3 videos side by side, we can infer that each video represents a new era/name change of the cult. So first it started as ERP, then became the Guild of Divinity, and then the Eon Order. The first video is called ERP, which stands for Erotic Roleplay. The text in the video reads, and I'm going to read it with proper grammar because this was clearly written by a child. Hello all. This is for Australian eyes only. Now you thought you knew everything that lived in the woods. Well, think again. When the ancient folklore and legends became a reality that is living on your doorstep, decide now. To fear it and hide or to be brave and join them. The choice is yours. In the description was a Kick username, and in the comments we have this exchange. This for anyone who wants to be a supernatural. Do you have anything for werewolves? Any spells maybe? No, we don't do spells. And we have another separate comment. We are looking for USA girls mostly in Georgia, USA. Contact me, Kick. Next we have the Guild of Divinity video. It says, if you're not a subscriber to this new channel, this channel has supernatural information, cursed objects, haunted items, and dangerous items ever made. The link will be down below so you can check it out and subscribe to help support this channel. Thanks for watching. Linked in the description is a YouTube channel that is now deleted. The Eon Order actually starts with this new intro in simple, but then we go back to the white text. The Eon Order is a new leased video channel based around supernatural creatures, rituals, and the paranormal. Channel link below. Share, like, subscribe, and attack the notification bell. Smiley face. Linked below was a YouTube channel that led to a working channel, the Eon Order. The About section says, this channel is created by the Eon Order to teach the occult and its practices. The channel only has one video called Intro. It starts with the same intro as before, and the text reads, this channel is made to teach others about the supernatural world, ancient rituals, and paranormal. Remember to like, subscribe, and press the notification to be known when the channel releases new videos, smiley face. So that's pretty much all I want to cover when it comes to the evidence. If you want to see it all, then check out Queenman's video. Now for the big question, what does all of this evidence amount to? Well, I didn't have access to literally all of the evidence, and even with the evidence I did have access to, I didn't show you guys everything. But from what I can take away from other content creators, it doesn't amount to much.
So this is going to be pretty characteristic of the conversations we're going to see in this cult. Okay, cult. Pretty much the entire time, there is like nothing that makes me think anything other than like this is a bunch of possibly autistic teenagers, like essentially LARPing, like doing like fan fiction writing through like a Tumblr, sort of that sort of vibe, right? Obviously, most of it, as we'll see, seems to have gone on through Whisper groups and through there's a few YouTube channels, and some of it happened on Facebook, but generally Whisper. And it does just feel like sort of like the sort of stuff you see in fanfic communities.
There is no like concrete evidence, 100% absolutely, to show and prove that Camdan is a pedophile. There is some suspicious things. There is a lot of testimonies. That is true. There is a lot of circumstantial evidence. But let alone trying to get this guy charged for being a pedophile, I wouldn't even make a YouTube video accusing of saying this guy's a pedophile for 100% of a proof. And I looked through every single piece of evidence. It's so scattered and it's so hard to follow. Like there's a ton of like random schizo testimonies on a fan fiction website of like a whole bunch of like girls talking about Camdan on like this fan fiction website, and like a whole bunch of out of context Whisper DMs, whole bunch of out of context I think it's Kick DMs and Instagram DMs. It was so hard to follow. It's like just such scrambled information.
But the basic kind of picture that I've got of it is it's a lot of conversation about this supposed cult, right? Which doesn't seem to be much substance to this. Like, it seems like a weird Twilight fanfic type affair. And MamaMax has presented it as something way more substantive than it seems to be based on the evidence, right? Now, does it mean that I'm kind of backing the idea that Camdan Gerard Davis is innocent? Well, no, because I don't know what one way or another, right? And that's the tricky part of this, is, you know, there is some weird stuff. But is it weird like he's broken a law or something? I don't really know about that. I'm not sure about that.
His evidence that he showed me isn't exactly evidence that I would write home about, you know?
Oh, that's a good question. Knowing everything you've already seen without disclosing anything that would get you in trouble, is this something that you would now make a video on your channel to talk about?
No, I wouldn't. Ever.
Fuck. Jesus. Well...
It's like, unless something big and massive comes out, I wouldn't personally sit and make a video on this. It's too one-sided. I like, literally, there doesn't seem to be a story. Like, and I'll say it from right now, it's just very much a lack of information on almost every on aspects of the story.
So what happened after Evidence.max got leaked? People covered it and spoke about it. Nextbo and Nextaku made statements disavowing Max. RedPagen takes down her videos interviewing the survivors and makes a video disavowing Max. Because of the victim's request, Max removed every stream and video regarding Camdan Gerard Davis from his channel, justifying the existence of this and my last video. On his Patreon a while ago, Max stated that he is going to put his full focus on the case against Camdan. After that is complete and the video is made, he'll make a second film talking about this drama, addressing the accusations, and talk about the harmful actions of destructive influencers. I can't wait. Creators like Willie Max Show and Umfabil made videos about the drama. Mutahar made a follow-up video to the previous one. As for writing this, Nicholas Deorio plans to make a follow-up video and upload the leak call between himself, Muta, Max, and Spencer, as well as stream his reaction to it, kinda like a finale for the drama. And that is all from me. I hope you enjoyed my coverage of this drama. It certainly was a wild ride. Please do all the fancy stuff like liking and subscribing and supporting. Speaking of, I know I have a lot of new people here, so please recommend me people and topics to talk about. I already have a list piled up, but I hope to exhaust this list pretty quickly. My goal is to have 12 videos out by the end of the month, one for each month, so recommendations are welcome. I hope I made your day a little bit less boring, and I'll see you in the next video.